Well, greetings everyone. Coach Cam here. Welcome to this evening's presentation. And man, I'm just excited. I'm blown away that you guys showed up on New Year's Eve. I was just telling my fiance, I'll probably be sitting here by myself this evening. It's New Year's Eve. I don't expect anyone to show up, but you guys showed up, and I really appreciate you taking time to do that. So before I get into it, just a little bit about myself. My name is Aziz Muhammad. I go by Cam. My initials, Coach Cam, most call me. So I got started. I like to tell people I got started in this business by accident. Coming out of the Marine Corps. I didn't want to do the traditional 9 to 5 where there's nothing wrong with it. I just watched my dad be an entrepreneur all my life, and kind of that's what I wanted to do. So I decided I was going to take the insurance route. So I became an independent insurance agent selling life insurance, homeowners insurance, car insurance. I mean, I had every license that I could get. Spent all my savings and opened up this big office downtown in the city I was living in and thought I was just going to take over the insurance world. Well, it didn't work out like that, right? I had more expenses and more money going out than I had coming in. I used to tell people I looked good and smelled good, but I was broke, right? I was struggling to make ends meet. And one day, this gentleman, he's kind of strolled into my office just by happenstance, and he said that he was with a company called Tax Slayer.
What do you want to eat?
Wanted to know if we had any.
Gotcha.
Let me mute. Okay, and wanted to know if I had any interest in earning some additional income. And like I said, I was broke, having troubles making ends meet. So I said, I'll take a look. I mean, you said tax slayer. I really was a little bit nervous about that, to be honest, because where I'm from, everybody was afraid of the IRS, right? Friends of mine used to say that the IRS stood for individuals representing Satan, so I didn't want to have anything to do with that. But I needed the money, so reluctantly I got started, and I'm glad I did. It was a blessing. That first tax season, I made about $30,000, and just to put it into perspective, that was in 90 days. Right. So that helped me out a lot. I needed that infusion of cash, and it came right on time. So I put a little bit more effort in it the next season, and we doubled our money. And by the third tax season, I had completely given up on the insurance thing, and I was just kind of doing taxes full time. We converted that insurance office into a tax agency, and haven't done that bad since. So I'm just excited about this opportunity. So again, we are Prosperity Tax Solutions. So what we are a nationwide virtual tax preparation opportunity. So you don't have to just deal with people that you know, people in your backyard, people in your city or state. You can build all across the nation in all 50 states. You can acquire clients. And, we started off as brick and mortar. I had about 12 brick and mortar locations. Eventually, I started taking the virtual thing more serious and started closing down the brick and mortar locations and going virtual. And the pandemic kind of helped push that along, right? So after that, we pretty much had shut down all of the brick and mortar locations and went 100% virtual. So it's been a journey, but I'm excited about it. We are rocking and rolling right now. We're in about 28 states across the nation, and I'm just pushing to get in all 50 states. About 92 different cities in 28 states right now. So I'm excited about that. So what we give you guys is you can get started with no experience. If you have experience, great, but we really target people with no tax experience. Like we really try to help people get into the industry. We try to break you into the industry. We give you everything you need. We give you your software. We give you your training. We give you your support. And we got one of the best compensation plans I've seen in the industry. So you pretty much got a turnkey business when you get involved with us. But is anyone on here an experienced tax preparer, or is everybody pretty much brand new? So I guess everybody's brand new, and that's good. I like working with brand new people because when you're dealing with experienced people, sometimes you get their bad habits too, right? In this industry, unfortunately, you can pick up some bad habits. I like to make sure that we're doing everything to minimize a client's tax liability, maximize their refund, but doing it all within the guidelines, right? We're not stepping outside of the lines. We're not playing any games. We do everything by the books here, that's how we like to train people. So a lot of times when you have experienced people come, they've been used to being real creative, so to speak. So I'm glad that you guys haven't. So one thing I want to show you real quick is I'm going to share my screen, and feel free to unmute um, and ask the questions. If I say something and you want to jump in and ask a question, you definitely can do so. But I want to share my screen really quick just to kind of show you the what I call the Success Hub and how we get you started and some of the things you'll have available to you once you get started with us. So can everyone see the blue screen that says PTS Success? Okay, I got a thumbs up. Appreciate that, Matthew. So when you get on this Success Hub, the first thing you'll see is the PTS Prepare Manifesto. And I like to read this every morning. It's just one of those mindset type things. Make sure you start off your day and reset your mindset and on the right page. So I'm a breeze right past that. I'm not going to read that. And then this is another mindset type video. But once you get into the Success Hub itself, first thing you're going to want to do is we have a little bit. Once you click this Getting Started Right, you click that and it's going to be a video. It's me walking you through how to get started, how to access the training, all that great stuff. But then you can see we have this Get Plugged In tab here, and that's going to plug you into all of our social media channels, as well as this first one, which is our private Facebook group. Now, most people are on Facebook. I do realize that some people are not. And if that's you, and you decide to get started with us, you would just let me give me your email address, and I'll put you in a special email list that I send out everything that I put on this private Facebook group. I send it to that email list so that you can have it too for those people that are not on Facebook. The next tab is our goals tab. There's a video there that talks about setting goals and setting your expectations for the tax season. And there's even a form where you can share your goals with me. That way I'll know how to best support you. So if your goal was to do 50 tax returns, that's a different type of support for somebody who wanted to do 150 tax returns. So, by sharing that, I kind of know how to support you, maybe put you with a mentor and help you, to achieve your goal. Then the next thing we have is our tools. Our tools, basically, we have a couple landing pages that I help you create so that you can have something to show people, right? You want to have your own landing page when you tell someone you're doing taxes and you want to, for customer acquisition, you'll have your own landing page where they can click on your landing page, watch some videos, and if they decide to become a customer, they can click the form where they can do an intake and upload all the documents, their W-2s and all that stuff, so you can become their preparer. So we have tools here for you, as well as other resources. But the main thing I want to show you is the training page. So when you come here, this top section is all about the software. All right, we use a state of the art virtual tax software. It's pretty user friendly. If you've ever done your own taxes on a TurboTax or something like that, you definitely can use this. It's a pretty easy software to navigate. But we have a video here that walks you through the software. We have this other tax software video that gives you some additional training on the software. Um, and this, as you can see, this one here is flashing because I just put it there yesterday and I wanted to make sure that everybody noticed it, because come January the 2nd, we're able to offer um, refund advances up to $7,500. So I just wanted to make sure everybody had the training on how to actually apply for advances for their customers who want advances. So I put that there yesterday so everybody can get prepared for that. We have 11 practice problems here that takes you from the most basic tax return you can do one taxpayer and one W-2, and then it goes all the way up to problem 11, which is a little bit more complicated, where you itemizing and doing a bunch of other stuff. So then we have the level one tax training. As you can see, it's like a video, and then it's a study guide that goes along with the video and a little pop quiz. Now, there's eight of those, and at the end, you have a final quiz with 50 questions. Now, don't let that intimidate anyone, because it's not a pass or fail type thing, right? This is we're just trying to give you all the knowledge you need to be proficient, but you can't fail, right? And not be able to do taxes. The IRS says as long as you get your P10 or register with the IRS, then you can legally prepare taxes for compensation in the United States. Now, I think it's too lenient, to be honest. I think they should require a little bit more for tax professionals, but it is that's what it is. So they don't even have a specific training, minimal training requirement. Even though we're going to give you all the training you need, the IRS doesn't require it. So the average person can get in and get started pretty easy. So that's all about training there. And then we have our marketing portion of the Success Hub, where you can go through and get training on client acquisition. So we have the Ultimate Tax Pro system, and this is all about how do I get a client? Like if I get started, what do I do next as far as client acquisition? Here's your training on client acquisition. The 50 client system talks about how to get your first 50 clients. We even have a warm market client acquisition system. And then we have what we call guerrilla marketing. Is just 32 marketing ideas. And when I say guerrilla marketing, it's all that other stuff you see people doing, like putting out the flyers and putting the yard signs out, and the tear things where you can tear a number off and call if you want to do taxes. It's get your taxes done. It's all that other stuff. That's what the guerrilla marketing is. Um, but there's no cost out of pocket for you to get started, other than the 19 bucks that you pay to the IRS to register to get your PT. There's no a way around that. I don't control that 19 bucks. I think it's like 18.75, but that goes directly to the IRS for you to register and get your P10. There is a fee associated with this setup fee, and it's 199, but you do not pay that out of pocket. I'm just of the opinion that if I can't help you make money, I don't want you spending money. So once we get you started, get you trained, and get you making money, then that can be paid out of future commissions. And if you don't make a dime, you don't pay a dime, right? So so that's kind of how that works. So before I keep rambling on, I'm gonna pause again to see if anyone has any questions so far about anything I've went over, or anything in general.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Absolutely. That's Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Sarah. Do you have at all an option of bringing us clients, or where I would have to find the clients on my own if I would want to do this?
Yes, no. So we don't bring you clients, and
Mhm.
you would have to, follow our system and bring in your own clients. So yeah, we do not have an option for bringing or providing clients. No, we don't.
Okay, and if I'm not like a social media person, like, do you see that being a problem, or
I don't
um,
see it being a problem. I just see it, but I do see it being a little bit more challenging than someone that is on social media. I wouldn't necessarily call it a problem. We have other, um, like the warm market training and other ways that we get clients, and it's all in our training program. But obviously, so if you're on social media, that's a plus. Yeah.
right here? Okay, thank you.
And you had mentioned something about in like possibly a certain circumstance having a mentor. Um, what circumstance would either require a mentor, or would it be asking for one? How would that work?
Yeah, it just asking for one. If you feel like, you know what, I need some one-on-one, I need a person assigned to me that I can call their cell phone and talk to them anytime I need them. If I got questions, then we would find that person for you. And in some cases, it might be me or it may be someone else on the staff. But yeah, we definitely can connect you with a one-on-one mentor if you feel like you needed that level of support. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before I move on?
Yes, hi. Whose EFIN is used and who holds legal liability? Let's say you make a mistake of some kind. Uh, who is there any kind of insurance or
So
something like that?
well, the EFIN, if you're talking about the EFIN, the EFIN holder, that's prosperity tax. That's here. Actually, the primary EFIN holder for the company is not me. It's actually my business partner, who is my daughter. So when you get started with us and you start doing tax returns, you'll see on the bottom of your tax return the EFIN holder's name, and that you'll say, well, who is Brittany? Well, that's my daughter. All right, she's the
Okay.
primary for this company. So yeah, so that liability falls on us. So if there's audits or any type of things, obviously, that falls on me, her, and our in the company. But now that doesn't take away just general basic responsibility that the preparer have. Like if you go out there and do something illegal or intentionally file a fraudulent return, yeah, that's going to be on you, right? Now we do review returns. We do have a compliance team who randomly pick returns and they'll go through some of yours and make sure that you're within compliance. And if they see something that you're doing that could potentially be an issue for you long term, they'll definitely reach out to you and let you know, stop doing this, or here's a better way to do that. Um, just I can recall last year we had a young lady who every one of her tax returns had what they call a form Schedule C, profit and loss for a business. Like so, you did 60 tax returns and all 60 of them had a Schedule C. Well, that's a problem because we know what is the likelihood of every person that you talk to, they all own a side hustle or small business or a home-based business or something like that. It was just immediately a red flag. So we had to reach out to her, and she was experienced. She came from somewhere else. That was one of the things I talked about in the beginning. I like working with people who don't come with those bad habits, those issues. She learned how to manipulate somebody's tax return where she was and thought she was going to be able to come and do that here, but no, absolutely not. So, but yeah, that's a great question, Matthew. Yep. Any others?
Are there any clawbacks ever, or if a return is amended, rejected, or audited?
Clawbacks. So there are no clawbacks, but there are situations where if, let's say, for example, you file a tax return and you did not follow the compliance or the due diligence type stuff. For example, if you're doing a tax return, you're supposed to collect the ID, the Social Security card, copies of the W-2s. There's certain documents, obviously, and you learn all that in your training. But there's certain documents that has to be uploaded into the software, and somebody on our compliance team will go through and review and make sure all of those documents are there. So if you submit a return and those documents are not there, when the IRS release the funds and it's time to pay out commission, a portion of that will be held until you bring that tax return into compliance. So there's no clawbacks. There's never a situation where we're going to try to ask for money back, but there will be situations where some may be held up if you don't do, if that return is not compliant. And then the minute they get compliant, it'll be released to you. Yeah. So that was a great question too. Sounds like you've been doing a little research. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, if there's no other questions. If you think of something while I'm talking, just jump right in there. I don't mind being interrupted. So um, let's talk a little bit about compensation and how that works. So We have what I like to call a progressive comp plan. You start off at 50% if you're brand new with no experience. You start off at a 50-50 commission split. And as you complete returns, you get increases. So on the first 10, you may be at 50%. And then on return number 11, your commission split goes to 60-40, 60, in your favor. And then on return number 50, it goes to 70-30, 70 in your favor. And it keeps going up all the way to 90% as you hit those milestones. So let's show you kind of what that looks like. So I put 475 in here. That's just a random number that I kind of pulled out of the sky. Depending on where you are, you can make adjustments to your fees. So what happens is once you get to the end of the tax return, the software will calculate a suggested fee for you. Now, if that suggested fee is higher than you want to charge that client, you can adjust it. You can just delete that fee and put the fee in that you want. It's just as simple as that. So you can adjust your fees. If that suggested fee is lower than you want, lower than you want to charge, then you can delete that and increase that, increase that a little bit because you feel like this return was a little bit more complicated and that fee should be a little bit higher. So you can just leave it at the suggested fee, or you can make adjustment to it. So we give you that leeway. So in this scenario, I'm gonna say, let's say a person did 150 tax returns. So if you look over here to the far right, it shows that if you came in at the very lowest rate, meaning no experience, this is your first time doing tax returns, 50-50, 150 returns, you would make $54,150. And that's not bad to income to make in 90 to 120 days, right? Um, Obviously, you got to get the 150 clients to make that, but that's still not a bad deal. But what I really wanted you to see was how that works. So you see how I was talking about you get increases. So on the first 10, you can see that 475 was a 50-50 split, and you would have made 2375. And then it shows you what you would have made on the next tier. So it breaks it all the way down for you. And you'll have the link and access to this calculator so you can play with it yourself. So um, I always have people say, well, what if I don't do 150 returns, or how hard is it to do 150 returns? I always tell people this, statistics say that the average US household, if they had an extra 500 to $1,000 a month, it would make a world of difference. It would be the difference in whether the car get repoed or not, whether the lights get turned off or not. It's like an extra $1,000 a month coming into your household. In most households, it would make a difference in the US. So I always tell people, well, here's something more realistic. Let's say you did 42 tax returns. All right. The average person can get that done. That's $12,302, right? That's an extra $1,000 a month coming into your household. Now, all you're going to get it all, in 90 to 120 days. But if you could budget it out, you could just have an extra $1,000 coming into your household. So, I tell people I love this opportunity because I can take the average person with no tax experience, struggling to make ends meet, need that extra income, help them do 42 returns, and now they got an extra $12,000 coming into their house. Now, this middle column, this is for those who want to recruit. Like some of you probably um, saw an Indeed ad or was recruited by somebody else this on our team, and this middle column is for that type of person. All right, everybody, you don't have to participate in that. It's totally optional. Not everybody do it, but for those who want to get involved with that, you can earn some additional income, some override income if you build a team. Um, I'll, when you get into training, you'll kind of get what I like to call my six-figure duplication system, where I talk about the way I set it up is I tell everybody to shoot for 60 tax returns, right? The goal is 60 tax returns. And if you're recruiting, I want you to try to recruit 12 people. And it's so simple to recruit 12 people because I give you the exact Indeed ad So we got ZipRecruiter, Indeed, Monster, all those places. I give you the exact advertisements that I run. You can create a free Indeed ad. The others cost money, but Indeed is free. So you take a free Indeed ad, you post your ad. I tell you how to respond to your customers. I give you everything that you need in order to successfully recruit and hire preparers. And when you do that, if everybody is on what I call that 60 clients, 12 recruits. So let's say you hire 12 and it's the goal of everybody just to do 60 tax returns. All right, you'll see that's a six-figure income. All right, once it duplicates, right? So, Kelly, if you hired 12 people and Tracy was one of those people and she did the same thing, once that duplicates, you're making $102,000 for the tax season. And that's just because you did 60 returns, you used our Indeed system, and you hired 12 people and then you had them to do the same. $102,000. So I like this system because it helps the average person make a six-figure income and not have to go out there and do 200 tax returns to make a six-figure income, right? They can just do 60 and hire them a handful of people and they're right where they need to be. Now, obviously, it's it'll be January 1st in just a few hours. So we're rolling into tax season. You really only have a week to bring on new people. So that process is probably not going to be good for someone starting today. You will probably want to focus on your personal tax returns as far as hiring, because we kind of cutting it off after this week, bringing on brand new people with no experience because we'll be in the season and we won't have time to get them up to speed and trained and up to speed. So this is our last week bringing on new people with no experience. Now, we do have another Indeed ad that we run that targets experienced tax people. Now, if you brought on an experienced person, it wouldn't matter if you brought them on in February, right? They already know what to do. They're going to hit the ground running. You just need to give them access to the software. So, there's still a little opportunity for that. But for the most part, you want to focus on client acquisition, unless you know somebody with experience. And and the reason I say you can still hire people with experience, because in most compensation plans in this industry, they'll start you off at a 60% level or even a 70%, if you're brand new. But what happens is you don't get increases. So let me give you a scenario. Let me pull out my calculator here. You might not be able to see it, but you can do it if you have a calculator yourself. So an experienced person may have 250 to 200 clients, and they may be at a 60 or 70% contract. So let's just call it 70%. So we're going to take that same figure, that 475. All right, 475, and we're going to do a 70% contract. So we're going to multiply that times 0.70. So if they did a tax return and they was locked into that 70% contract, they would make $332.50 per return. If they did 200 returns times 200, they would make $66,500. Now, let's look at our compensation plan starting off at 50, so 20% less, doing the same 200 tax returns. And well, let me clear out all this team stuff because we're not even looking at that. So starting 20% less, the same 200 tax returns, but because we progress, we got a progressive plan, and we give you the ability to hit all those benchmarks instead of 50. What was that number? 66. Instead of 66,000, you're making 74,300. So that's the reason we're able to recruit experienced people, because they're locked into a fixed rate where they are. They never have the ability to go all the way up to 90%. And once we show them our compensation plan, they get excited. And the best part about that is we don't start them off at, I showed you this starting them off at 50. If you're experienced, you're not going to start at 50. So it's going to be even more money, because I'm going to start you at a higher rate, either 60 or 70 or something like that. So, and then you still got the ability to progress to the 90%. So they're going to make way more money than they would in a traditional comp plan where they locked into a percentage. So I still hire people all year long from other places because they see it's a lot more money on the table working within the type of comp plan we have. So I think that's probably about all I want to share. I just want to open up the floor for questions now.
You said the payments go out in 90 to 120 days.
No, no. So I'm just saying the tax season, you're going to make the money. You got that 90 to 120-day window, but as you do tax returns, as the funds are released by the IRS, we pay it out weekly, every Friday. So if you had a bunch of returns that get processed and funded by the IRS this week, 10, 20 returns, Friday, you're getting paid all of your commission for all those returns. So we pay it out. We try to get you your payments as quickly as possible. As soon as we get it coming in, we're going to turn it around every week on Friday. So yeah, we're not holding it to the end.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I was a little confused about that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Tracy.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Kelly and I we're neighbors. We've been friends for years, and we had watched the videos and everything. And what does it actually mean when you're talking about you get paid on a funded when a return is funded? What if you work with somebody for 2 or 3 hours and they wind up owing the IRS money? How does that work?
So great question. So what happens is, if someone owes the IRS money, when you get started with us, you're going to have access to a payment link, right? And when somebody owes the IRS money, you're just going to simply forward, hey, I've completed your tax return. Looks like you're going to be on the IRS, whatever, 500, 5,000, whatever the case may be. And the preparation fees for that is, let's just use that same 475 number. Here's the payment link. I'm sending it over to you. Before you release the tax return to them, they have to make the payment up front on the payment link. And then it gets paid out the same way. On Friday, you get your split, so when people are using the payment link, the payments are coming in and I'll process them and I'll get it, your portion back out to you on Friday. But yeah, you'll have a payment link. Now, if they have a refund, then we have a partnership with a bank and it's called Refund Advantage. So if you want to take a look at them, you can. Refund Advantage. What happens is when the IRS funds that, and that's what I mean by funded, when the IRS release the tax return, the refund, that's called funded. So the money is released to that bank, Refund Advantage. Refund Advantage simultaneously or instantly drops the 475 prep fee in Prosperity Tax Solutions account, and the balance or the refund drops into the taxpayer's account. So it happens instantly. There's no delay there. So they capture our fees for us. So when somebody's getting a refund, they don't have to pay out of pocket, is what I'm saying. All right, we can run it through we'll attach the refund advantage to that return and they'll handle the money for us. We don't have to get a dime from them out of pocket. It'll just be captured out of their refund. So if they were getting, let's say this person was getting $6,000 back, right? They would refund advantage would drop their 6,500, so to speak, roughly 6,500, 5,500 in their account, and the 475 dropped in our account simultaneously. It happens all instantly, and we'll pay you on Friday, and the client has got their refund instantly.
Oh, that's wonderful. So they're not getting charged to file it electronically or have it deposited like other companies do.
Right. No. So we're gonna file.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Your prep fees. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So, last thing I want to mention is you would be a full service provider, meaning there would be nothing that they could go to any of the large franchises like Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block, Liberty Tax, any of those franchises or local tax office down the street, there would be nothing that those people could provide that you couldn't. So you have the same services that all of those companies have, all the way down to you can offer refund advances if somebody wanted to get an advance on their refund up to $7,500. So, and that's not credit based. They Refund Advantage kind of look at the tax return itself, and then they check the debt systems. There's federal debt systems and local and state debt systems that they have access to. So if they owe a federal debt like um, student loans or something like that, then they're not going to get approved for an advance. But if they don't have anything in the debt system, and I'm not talking about your credit, I'm talking about like student loans, federal debts, they could be, garnished. If you don't have any type of federal debts, or sometimes some state debts can be garnished too. So if they don't find anything when they check it and your return looks up to par, you'll be eligible for the refund advance.
And one more question. I'm sorry, I keep thinking of things.
No, keep on.
I live in Texas, and we don't have a state income tax.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll learn how to do those.
Absolutely. This easier because you don't have a state. So the federal is the federal. So it doesn't matter what state you live in, the federal is the federal, right? But some states do have a state return. And so in your case, yeah, you don't even have to worry about that because y'all don't have a state return. But in the cases where the states do have state returns, if you get a client in another state, which you very well could, yeah, you would do the state and the federal. Here's the thing, the state returns it's almost like piggybacks. Like there's really nothing you need to do for the state return because when you have that W-2 in front of you, it shows what they paid in state taxes and federal taxes. If you're in a state where they didn't have state taxes, you don't have to worry about that. But once you put the data in from the W-2s and all of the other income sources, the software calculates the state return. All you got to do is identify what county they live in that state.
Okay.
Select their county, and the software automatically populates the state return once you're completed with the federal. So, yeah, it's just a matter of clicking a button. Really, it's no big challenge with the state return, unless they're itemizing and they're doing something with the state and local taxes. It could potentially be a little bit more to do, but you will definitely get that. And in cases where it's your first time, like I said, your mentor will walk you through it.
Okay.
You could literally go get somebody's W-2 and all their tax information right now and call me and say, hey, let's jump on and do this tax return, and I'm gonna walk you through it, right? So, you don't have to have any anxiety about taking someone's information and messing up. We're not gonna let you mess up anything.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. I was a little worried about
Yeah.
doing a state return from somebody in another state because I've never seen one. I do my own taxes and I've never had to do it. So I just don't want to, mess up anybody's stuff. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Not gonna let you mess up anything. It's gonna be somebody that's gonna be always available to walk you through it. I tell people you can literally, without even going through any of our training, you can literally go grab some W-2s from somebody and come back and call us and say, I got one. So, and we're gonna get on there with you and walk you through it. And once you do one or two, first thing I would suggest if you get started with us is to watch the software walkthrough video. Once you can navigate through the software, all of the tax stuff, the tax law, the tax training, all that stuff will come over time. The main thing is you want to, learn how to navigate through the software, and then you can slowly start going through all the tax trainings, and you'll be surprised of how much you learn just by doing. Yeah. But yeah, y'all got great questions. I appreciate that. Any others? All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I think that's pretty much it. The only thing you have to do is, I don't know who invited you, but if you either get back with them and get the form, there's a jot form application that you kind of fill out. It just got some your name, phone number, just some basic information there. Once you submit that over to me, you will get back instructions on how to get the PTN if you don't already have those instructions. It's just a matter of going to irs.gov/PTN, applying for your PTN. It's going to cost you $18.75. And once you send that back to me, then I can activate your software. I can give you your login credentials. I can give you access to the training. I can give you everything you need. But I can't really give you anything until I get that PTN, because by law, the IRS require you to have that before, you can move forward. So, but once you get that, I'll open up everything to you, give you access to everything you're going to need. One last thing is, part of that process is, are y'all familiar with ID Me? So if you got any type of federal type, so if you got an ID Me account, then you're one step ahead of the game. But if not, when you get ready to apply for your PTN, it's going to make you create an ID Me account where you have to um, upload your ID and your social, and they gotta verify that it's you. They gotta verify your identity. It's a little process with that. But once you get through that and apply for your PTN, they give it to you instantly. Don't choose to buy mail. Don't choose mail. You don't want it by mail. You want it electronically, because the mail, tax season will be over before you get it in the mail, right? So you want to do it, electronically, because they'll give it to you instantly. You get your PTN right on the spot. Take you 10 minutes and you got it. But other than that, yeah, that's it. I appreciate y'all time. I hope y'all have a great time bringing in the new year. I'll be working. I'll be right here recording the video. Actually, I got another video to record when we get off here. So, training video. So, I appreciate it. I'm gonna turn y'all back over to your evening, but definitely reach out if you have any more questions, and get back to whoever shared this information with you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much. Have a happy new year. Be safe.
And Sarah,
Thank you.
you can be successful without social media.
Yeah. I'm very excited about the opportunity. I'm just nervous about being able to find clients.
Oh yeah, well,
Um,
the training, it's a lot of good tips in there. It's the client acquisition training. You'll be able to get clients.
okay, and if I would want like just the first few returns for someone to look it over before we actually like submit it, you can someone will do that.
Because when you get to the end of a tax return, it's a button that you can check that says, please review this return. So somebody will know to review your return before you send it off. Yeah.
So if I would be nervous, just like for starters, I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you feel comfortable, you don't have to check that button anymore. You just take the training wheels off and run. So
Yeah, but that's great that I have that option. This way I don't have to be too nervous the first time I hit it,
you do have that option. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a great evening.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Mhm.